I had 25 in the fourth. But that was the first time in my career I was really scared, like, I'm going to be on CNN tonight as the drunk basketball player because I looked it though, like I couldn't hide it.
Did you know Lou Williams played drunk in an actual NBA game and still ended up scoring the most points for his team that night? The Clippers were playing against the Knicks back in 2019, and Lou had an awful start, turning the ball over twice within a few possessions. People throw the heat at Doc Rivers for being a bad coach, but when you hear his reaction, you'll realize he played this one out perfectly. Also, the real reason why Lou got drunk in the first place is hilarious. The dude is straight up OG with plenty of interesting real-life stories, including the one when he almost got shot during his time in Philly. Today, we're going through them all in this video, so make sure to stick with us to learn more about one of the most entertaining NBA players of this era. Hello basketball fans, and welcome to Hoop Vision. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It takes only a second, costs nothing, and will give you access to more basketball stories. On March 24th, 2019, Lou Williams had 29 points, 7 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes of playing time against New York. Now that alone wouldn't be such big news. He was the reigning 6th man of the year, and the Knicks were awful back then, their record being 14-60 after that game. However, what made it all special was the fact that Lou entered the game drunk. As soon as he was on the floor, he looked like he forgot how to play basketball. Turnovers, brick shots, everything was off. The story behind it? Lou went out the night before and got hammered. At first, he intended on staying just for a drink or two, but as he said, when a bunch of women entered the club, the entire momentum shifted and he ended up partying until the morning.
I got a little carried away.
This situation wouldn't have been a problem if the game was scheduled for late afternoon or evening, but instead, it was a noon game, which is bad if you blacked out from drinking somewhere around 4 or 5 in the morning. Assuming Lou got those non-recommended 2 to 3 hours of sleep, he had almost no time to sober up enough to be at his 100%. When he started messing up on the court, it was obvious something was wrong with him. So Doc called a timeout and Lou confessed straight away.
I walk up to Doc Rivers. I say, Doc, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm drunk as fuck. I went too far. I'm sorry. I don't think I can do this shit.
After that, Doc did something not many coaches would. The majority of them would have sent Lou to the end of the bench and suspend him as soon as the game was over. However, Coach Rivers kept him in the game, trying to make Lou force his way through the adversity while also teaching him a lesson.
Because I need you to sweat that shit out because I'm gonna need you in the fourth quarter.
We don't know whether this was intentional, but Doc handled the situation beautifully, and his choice of words was great as well. First, he gave Lou the entire second quarter to sweat it out, which meant he was okay with him being the liability as long as he was willing to fight through. Then, by saying, "I need you in the fourth," Doc pointed out how much he trusted Williams despite making a mistake. In the real world, your friends slap you to sober you up. In the NBA, your coach does it by making you play almost the most minutes out of everybody. And in this case, it worked. Lou showed up in the fourth to score 15 points and lead the Clippers to another win. 9 of those came from 3-pointers, so Doc's strategy of sweating the alcohol out proved effective. Not only did he score their way to victory, but also had 0 turnovers in the entire second half. The fact Lou did something like that the night before was probably due to Clippers not being the same team they've been until that point. CP3 was sent off to Houston, and there was also no Jamal Crawford, no Blake, and no DeAndre. So the expectations were not high at all. They reached the playoffs as the 8th seeded team just to get kicked out by the at the time still dominant Warriors. Lou did win another 6th Man of the Year award, the 2nd consecutive one and the 3rd total of his career, making him and Jamal Crawford the only players to have won the award that many times. It's crazy when you think about that the Clippers had some of the all-time best bench players along with the Lob City roster, and still never once reached the conference finals. What's also crazy is that the drunk game wasn't the only interesting story in Lou's 16-year career. During his time with the Raptors, Lou also made headlines for more than just what he did on the court. Rumors went on that Lou was romantically involved with 2 women simultaneously. Now, in the NBA, that's hardly shocking. But here's the kicker. Both women were fully aware of the situation and were completely okay with it. The buzz intensified when Lou himself added fuel to the fire, posting a photo featuring both women nicknaming them Blonde and Brown. Even as the media attempted to spin the story negatively, Lou handled the situation like a pro and turned it into a comedy skit. But you know what was the cherry on top? He got a shout out in Drake's song 6th Man. The track's iconic opening perfectly captures who Lou is and the swag he carries everywhere he goes. What makes this story even better is that no one walked away hurt. Sure, Lou is a father of 3 kids, but since he's never tied the knot, there wasn't any cheating involved. Compare that to some NBA scandals where players have not only cheated but done so with their teammates' significant others. Lou's story feels like a harmless, lighthearted Adam Sandler movie. Honestly, he deserves nothing less than a high five for how he pulled it off. However, he even pulled off something that could have meant the line between life and death. Back in 2011, Lou was playing for Philadelphia 76ers. It was Christmas Eve and he was driving his car, planning to go home to meet his family and friends. Just as he stopped at the red light, he heard the knocking on the window. At first, it seemed like a homeless person was trying to get some money, but the story took a much darker turn within seconds. Lou instinctively lowered the glass only to see the gun pointed at his face. The guy was trying to rob him. Luckily, the gunman recognized him and gave up on his plan. Robbing Lou Williams in Philly would be like robbing Derrick Rose in Chicago. You just don't do it. The man said he couldn't do it to him and apologized, saying he only did so because he was out of jail and hungry. The man that he is, Lou picked him up and went to the nearest McDonald's for them to eat together. As they talked, the guy opened up about his struggles, apologizing over and over for causing distress to him. Lou talked to the guy about choosing better options in life, and even though he didn't say it, he probably helped him in finding the job and the place to live. It's just something Lou would do, being the wholesome person. He's way more than a basketball player. He has a huge passion and a love for music. But first, we must mention the Chicken Wing Strip Club incident and how he got his famous nickname Lemon Pepper Lou. In 2020, the world was going through the COVID crisis, and all the NBA teams had a quarantine program to keep the players from getting infected or spreading the virus. Lou was given the leave to attend a funeral, but was pictured in a strip club during that period. His defense regarding the club was that he just stopped by to pick up some lemon pepper chicken wings, which resulted in him getting the nickname. He was against people calling him that, fearing it might overshadow his basketball legacy, but soon realized how marketable the nickname was and decided to keep it. The Lemon Pepper Lou turned out to be a great financial tool for businesses he's invested in, so the nickname isn't going anywhere. When it comes to finances, Lou Williams didn't rely solely on his basketball earnings. After stepping away from the court, he ventured into the music world by launching his own label, Winners United. As the CEO, Lou combines his passion for music with the opportunity to take part in its business side. In interviews, Lou has shared how music has always been part of his life. His house was rarely quiet. His mom and siblings were constantly spinning records or CDs, so it's no surprise that music became his outlet. These days, Lou has firmly planted his roots in the industry, not just as a producer, but as an artist as well. His friend with Meek Mill was another key factor in his journey. The two bonded during Lou's time in Philly, and Meek gave him valuable insights into the music business. At one point, Lou even revealed they recorded an impressive 30 to 40 songs together, an achievement considering how demanding his basketball career was at the time. Looking back on his career, Lou often credits Allen Iverson for instilling a sense of belief in him. Allen Iverson showed Lou that being an undersized guard didn't mean you couldn't dominate as a scorer, and, more importantly, that life didn't have to be about just one thing. Judging by Lou's long list of achievements and the promising road ahead, it's clear he took that advice to heart and ran with it. That's it for today, Hoop Fam. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments, what do you think of Lou Williams and his life story? If you have any suggestions for our next video, don't hesitate to share it down below as well. Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See you in the next one.